Welcome to the Social Chameleon Show, where it's all going to help you learn, grow, and transform who you want to become. Today, we're going to talk about the rule of 100. Take 17 minutes a day to be in the top 5% of anything. Sounds crazy? Because it is. Let's talk about it. The law of 100 is a concept that encourages individuals to focus on the process rather than immediate results. It emphasizes the importance of completing the first 100 iterations of a task or project or whatever. We'll talk about different things without worrying about perfection. Not to say sacrificing quality, though, right? But by prioritizing quantity over quality initially, the law of 100 promotes continuous improvement through experimentation, learning from mistakes, and gradual refinement. This approach is beneficial for anyone seeking to master a new skill, launch a project, or achieve personal growth. The idea is that if you spend just 100 hours a year, roughly 17 minutes, 16.5 minutes a day on any given skill, whether playing guitar, practicing a sport, learning a new skill or language, you could surpass 95% of the world. That's just 4.6 days a year or 0.05 weeks a year. You're going to be in the top 5%. Let's think about that. Ooh, that's not a lot, right? Now, so imagine devoting 17 minutes a day for 1 year to your favorite sport or a new sport you want to learn, to self-defense, jiu-jitsu, or anything like that over the next year. And then the year after that, learn a new language. In just a few short years, you'll be the most interesting person in the world. Imagine how many skills in 10 years you could achieve. If you just did 17 minutes a day for a year, you focus on one thing. In 10 years, you'd have 10 new, unique skills, not to mention the compounding effects of a person that knows, Spanish and jiu-jitsu and coding and whatever other, 8 other things you choose. You're going to be a very unique person that has a unique skill. Cal Newport talks about that similar concept in his book, So Good They Can't Ignore You. Tim Ferriss, I believe, also speaks about the thing, there's not a lot of people that are lawyers that speak Spanish and then can write code. Like somebody that does all 3 of those things, there are not many of them, right? So you easily put yourself in the top 5% of the world. Think about what you can do, right? How about devoting that time or another 17 minutes, right, to your career, learning a new skill, reading books, or anything that you could possibly do to advance yourself and put yourself in a better financial position to progress to where you want to go or to new levels you never thought of. So imagine if you did 17 minutes in the morning and 17 minutes in the evening. How much maybe this is not to be about how much more you can get done. This is not the point of that. But however, if you could take 17 minutes in the morning and do, let's just say you're trying to get better, you're trying to learn coding, right? So you take 17 minutes in the morning before you go to your regular job, you do your coding activity, you come home at night, you do another coding activity, right? You can compress these windows. Like I said, the point of this is not to blaze through things, but you could get yourself to new heights in a relatively quick manner. And think about that, right? So you get up, whatever, 20 minutes earlier than you normally do, right? Go ahead, get warmed up, get in your thing, spend that 17 minutes doing that thing, and then go by the rest of your day. And then when you come home, before you do whatever, before you watch Netflix, or before you turn on a game or something like that or whatever, you do another 17 minutes. It's not a lot, right? Thinking about this, these small incremental pieces, you'll quickly become in the top 5% of the world. Like I said, this is not about speed and hacking and getting you to some superhuman thing in fucking 17 weeks. No, it's not about that. But I want the thought in our heads about what we can really achieve, right? As humans, we grossly underestimate what we can accomplish in a year, right? So if you did this for a year, let's just say you stack this in the morning and the evening, right? You can bang out 200 hours. Now, there is a concept Malcolm Gladwell talks about in his book Outliers, the 10,000 hour rule. Now, I think this has been widely abused and ever, but the idea is when you look at masters and look at people that are the top 1% of their craft, they've spent about 10,000 hours of deliberate practice. That's the key, right? Deliberate practice, doing these things to become the master. So how much less time could you compress things if you just didn't get overwhelmed by, wow, man, I got to spend an hour doing this, and I got to spend this. I have a full-time job. I have a family. I have this, right? So we start getting overwhelmed with these things. We're like, well, I'll start Monday, or I'll start next week. And then, well, I'm busy. I got projects at work or whatever. And, the kids are this. And so then all of a sudden we start, thinking this takes so much time. We start pushing these things out, right? But I'm here to tell you that, listen, 17 minutes a day, that gets you 100 hours a year. That's all we had to do, right? How much more progress are you going to make towards that 10,000 hours to mastery, right? Maybe you don't get to mastery, but in a year, you're going to be better than 95% of the world. And that is a huge change in your life, right? It's a huge game changer in your career. As a huge game changer in the things you want to accomplish and the things you want to do, right? If you want to get in shape, there is actual research and studies and stuff like that or whatever, that it doesn't take an hour of a workout, right? You can get into any space, in your hotel room, in your home. You don't have anything, whether you go to the gym or you don't go to the gym, right? You can knock out some push-ups, you can knock out some squats, right? You can get out and you can grab a kettlebell. This doesn't take a lot of effort to become the top 5%, right? This is very interesting when we start to think about these things. And we're going to go into some different things about this and broaden the idea of this a little bit, okay? It's very fascinating. When I came across this, I was like, man, I got to share this with you guys. I think this is just a great concept. I've heard this a lot of times in different things. When I heard it broken down into minutes like this, I was very intrigued and I started diving into it. And that's where we are today. This concept can be applied to anything you want to do to improve your life or improve your situation, your finances, your career, yourself, anything and everything you can think of. The law of 100 encourages individuals to commit to their craft by completing the first 100 iterations without fixating on perfection. And I think that's where a lot of us get bogged down. Let me tell you right now, I am captain bogged down by perfection. Captain bogged down by, I just need a little bit more information. If I just knew a little bit more. And this is a good reminder of, let's just get through 100 things. Let's just get through iterations. Let's just do these things in a manner that doesn't sacrifice quality, right? But it also doesn't get weighed down by perfectionism. Okay, this is a good concept. I think it's good to practice, and it's good. I think it's a good thing to know as well when you're counting these things down in a way. And you're like, listen, I'm on day 5. I think you can let a little bit of pressure off, and be like, you can really, understand and treat yourself as like, I'm a beginner. I'm on day 5. And then we get to day 100. Like, I've only done this 100 times, and look back and go, man, I'm pretty good now though. But I've only done this 100 times. I'm gonna zero in on perfection by de facto of repetition, right? So I think it's a nice way also to let some of the pressure off of ourselves, right? So by embracing quantity over quality initially, the methodology fosters continuous improvement through experimentation, learning from mistakes, and gradual refinement, right? This is what we're talking about here. Here's some concepts we can think about in this, not just in the factor of minutes, maybe, right? So in behavioral change, right? The rule of 100 might suggest committing to a particular action or habit 100 times, to increase, significantly increase the likelihood of it becoming a lasting habit. There's some great things out there, Tiny Habits and Atomic Habits. Those are 2 books. They definitely are in line with this thought process, right? How about in your business or in the company you work for, in marketing, right? How about we could try this idea? So this could relate to the idea of sampling or reaching out to 100 customers to gauge the reaction to a product or campaign effectively. In the book, The Ultimate Sales Machine, they talk about your 100 dream customers. In the line of YouTube, Mr. Beast talks about making at least 100 videos and improving just a little each time. He says, if you're not doing 100 videos, you're not even serious till you get to your 100 video. We're on episode 96, so I'm trying to get a little serious here. It's been a few years, but that's okay. It's right. Every week, every month, we just keep plugging along with this. In the $1 Million Weekend by Noah Kagan of AppSumo, if you're familiar with that company, I'll link to these different resources for you guys to investigate further. He refers to the principle that encourages individuals to seek 100 rejections in order to find success. He believes that actively pursuing rejection can overcome the fear of failure and ultimately find the few yeses that lead to success. He's famous for promoting the idea of the coffee challenge. So this is what I also want you guys to do. Embrace this concept, right? Next time you go get a cup of coffee, you go get lunch, anything, you're there and you're making a transaction. I want you to ask for a discount. At first, it's going to be scary. Okay. Here's maybe a little bit of a trick, a little bit of a hack to that. If you use the word because, no matter what comes after because, the person that's hearing this is compelled in a way. There's something that triggers in our brain that's just like, oh, okay, you gave a reason, therefore I'll do it. So if you're like, hey, can I get 10% discount on my cup of coffee because you're an amazing barista? It has nothing to do with that. If you stop to think about that for 10 seconds, it doesn't even make any sense to anything. But when you use the word because, it will help, compel that person to fulfill your request. So try that if you're a little scared, add a little because, and just because anything at the end of it. Think of something nice, think of something polite. I would try to focus on the other person that you're asking this about. That's a little hack, but do this. This is what Noah's talking about, right? 100 rejections. So you're going to go out there. He tells a story in the book about his father was a copy salesman, and he'd go to business. No. And he was with his dad. He's like, dude, what is going on, man? He's like, everybody just says no to you. He's like, oh, good. That's what I'm here for. I know eventually I'm going to get a yes, right? So this is that concept, right? This is a powerful rule of 100, right? There's so many things we can go through. How about in project management here? Setting an initial milestone of 100 steps, tasks, or hours dedicated to a project to assess the progress and adjust the project trajectories early on, right? How much more maybe time, money, things could we save if we had these milestones, right? Like, listen, we're going to do 100 things and we're going to reevaluate. Something we can consider. Like we're talking about learning skills and acquisition, right? Practicing a skill or learning content for 100 hours to achieve at least basic competence, right? And like I said, this is, I think, a fun way to let yourself off the hook a little bit and bring down that pressure, bring down the temperature of these things. I know we can get overwhelmed with these things. We pile on, 47 New Year's resolutions and we don't know where to start and we can't figure it out. This is a way to just take one of those top priorities. I'm going to do this 100 times. I'm going to do this 100 for 100 hours. I'm going to do this, whatever, 100. Use that as a benchmark, right? Robert Kiyosaki talks about this in, I don't know if it's in Rich Dad Poor Dad or just in general, but he talks about looking at 100 properties before making a decision. Interesting how number 100 keeps coming up quite often in a lot of different things. You're going to start seeing this now when you're interacting with life. You're going to start seeing these 100 kind of things start popping up. Okay. How about creating 100 small things? Maybe try it in 100 days. Those are fun little challenges we can do, right? One little tiny thing I'm going to create today. I'm going to paint a little thing. I'm going to draw a little thing, whatever you're into. I'm going to make a little wood thing today. I'm going to write a little bit line of code, and I'm going to do that for 100 days, whatever you want to do. Or you're just going to do it 100 times, whatever you feel like, thing. Or how about committing to fixing 100 bugs or defects in your product or code or whatever it is before adding any new features to ensure stability and reliability of your software product. How about to build a reputation and customer loyalty? A company could aim to achieve 100 positive customer interactions or resolve 100 customer complaints, satisfactorily. How much of an impact could that make in your business? If you reached out to 100 customers, I tell this to a lot of my clients that are starting off, especially your first 100 people, these are the people you can get in. You have the time, you have the ability to email them, to call them, to get on the phone with them, go to coffee and talk to these people. If you're familiar with the story of Airbnb, it's a great example of this. When they were first started out and they were trying to get traction, they were trying to figure out, how to get this going. They went to each and every one of their hosts, I think it was their high volume hosts. And they were like, what are they doing? They came to this guy. He had a binder of all the things. He had ideas. And a lot of that stuff they implemented and they still use to this day. They send out professional photographers. They do all these different things. They have checklists and all these different things. That only came about because they took the time and they went out and they saw their first 100 customers and they came across a guy with this binder that had all kind of ideas. And that was part of their roadmap to the success that they wound up having. Very interesting concept, right? So imagine now you talk to 100 people. Imagine if you talked and you made sure you satisfactorily resolved 100 customer complaints. I'm not saying they have to be right necessarily, but can you come to some type of agreement, right? Can you come to some type of satisfaction with these people? Word of mouth is a powerful driver of revenue. McKinsey Consulting estimates that somewhere between 20 and 50% of all sales are directly because of word of mouth How much more leads can you be generating? How much more sales can you be doing? How much more bookings can you get if you've got 100 satisfied customers? This also leads into the idea of Kevin Kelly's 1,000 true fans, right? And that says, we don't need these giant audiences and different things. You really think about it. If you got 1,000 customers, if you got 1,000 clients, if you got 1,000 whatever it is that you're into, you got 1,000 people that are into your band, 1,000 people that are into your music, you can make a freaking really good living on that money, right? So think about that. You got 1,000 people every month paying you $29.95, right? You got 1,000 new people every month, downloading your CD for $7. That's a lot of money, right? Maybe you're doing this on the side. So these little things, these patterns show up in nature, right? These patterns show up in our lives. There's a lot of things that do. This is why this number seems to come up a lot in different things, right? You can set a rule to save 100 times a year. That's a third of the year, right? Regardless of the amount, to foster a habit of saving and financial planning. The average American doesn't have $500 for, a car repair or an emergency to come up. So imagine if you just did 100 times in a year. There's 52 weeks a year, so if you did at least once a week, okay, that's 50 times, and if you sprinkle in a couple times here and there, you throw $1 in a jar. Robert Kiyosaki also talks about that, right? You got a jar, you put $1 in the jar, you put a quarter in the jar, you put whatever, put a penny in there. I mean, I know, hey, so everybody's different situations, but can you get a jar and throw a penny in there, every week, twice a week, maybe one time you throw a quarter in there. Next thing you know, you're going to have a pretty decent sized jar change, just it's fostering these habits, right? Habits drive our life. Everything we do is habitual, right? Everything you do all day long is habitual. So all these different things, and you have these rules and you have these frameworks, these strategies, you build a solid foundation, you can build a beautiful house on top of that, right? You don't have a good foundation, your building's not going to stand, right? You're not going to be able to stand on 2 footing. I got a bunch of other things just to spark ideas. Maybe this is your industry or whatever. I'm going to put them in the show notes for you guys. I want you guys to go in there, check these out. Here's a couple of things, right? Mental health and mindfulness. Commit to 100 sessions of mindfulness and meditation. Network, improve personal growth. Challenge yourself to meet 100 people, right? Cook 100 meals. Read 100 books. Do 100 consecutive days of physical fitness. I got a whole big list of this. Me and my co-writer ChatGPT came up with. But this is some great stuff. This is just to spark ideas for you guys. I want you to think about this. I think it's a very simple, I hate to use the word hack, but it definitely could be kind of a bit of a hack where you can finally kind of get some things done that's been on your list, been on the things you want to do. Look at your goals, your New Year's resolutions, the things that are keep getting pushed every year. I'm going to put this on my list again. I'm going to put this on my list again. Hey, let's do 100. Let's do this for 100 days. Right? Let's start doing these things. There's a great website that came out of the book, Middle of the Weekend from Noah Kagan. He talks about the law of 100. One of the readers went out and made this awesome website. It's called lawof100.com. And it's already built for you to check off each day for completing your 100, whatever your 100 is, right? Whether it's 100 days, whether it's 100 minutes, 100 hours, whatever it is you're doing, whatever 100 you're doing. I'll link to James Clear's blog. He's the author of The Atomic Habits. This is one of the best-selling books on the topic. He goes over, not necessarily, you might not necessarily find the rule of 100, but you're gonna find the concepts in there, right? Different things to help you with your habits, to help you with your 100. Zen Habits is also another great thing. It focuses on simplicity and mindfulness in daily life, providing actionable advice that can help implement long-term habits akin to the rule of 100. Tiny Habits, also one of those seminal books in this space of habits by BJ Fogg, where he teaches you how to create tiny habits for life-changing events. This is on this concept. This maps perfectly to the rule of 100. Like I said, some books, Atomic Habits. This book is a comprehensive guide on how tiny habits can lead to a remarkable result, which is much in line with the rule of 100. Tiny Habits, same concept. They come at this from a little different. James Clear and BJ Fogg is a professor at Stanford. They come at this from a little bit different angles, but you're going to see the base level rules are the same. They have similar methodologies. That's what it comes out. Sometimes people resonate more with Atomic Habits. Some people resonate a little bit more with Tiny Habits, whatever works for you. The Power Habit is a good one. Outliers, The Story of Success by Malcolm Gladwell. This is a fantastic book. I know I've recommended this book on the show many times because it is a foundational book. deliberate practice. This goes into that. This makes you understand why and how Michael Jordan is who he was, how Kobe Bryant is who he was, how the top people in the world are who they are, how the 5% that we're going to get into, right, that we're in, right, we're headed towards, right, how you can be the 1% of that 5%. That's where deliberate practice goes into things. That's where the 10,000 hour rule comes into. I highly recommend reading this. Deep Work by Cal Newport. This is a fantastic resource. Focus on the benefits of focus and uninterrupted work, which can be structured around achieving 100 iterations or units of deep work sessions or whatever. Learning the concepts in deep work to be able to have focus and uninterrupted work is going to allow you to do these 100 iterations, to allow you to do your rule of 100, whatever version you're going to do, whether it's 100 hours, 100 events, 100 tasks, right? And then we talked about $1 Million Week by Noah Kagan. It's a great book. If you're looking to start something, you're thinking about something to do on the side, this book is perfect for that. His message is don't quit your job, don't burn the bridges. It's a very different look. Get something going on the side. Maybe it just stays your side thing. That's okay. And we're not all built to be entrepreneurs. We're not all built to do these things. And that's okay. And his book really gives you permission to build something on the side, whether it becomes your main gig or not. The life skills in here too, the sales skills and all the different skills in here, you can learn this book. It's a fabulous book. I would highly recommend it. And then, of course, this week's challenge, choose a simple action. What do you want to achieve? What do you want to be world-class at? What will make you legendary? Set that up. Now set a target. Based on what we went over, choose your 100. Hours, days, iterations, choose your 100. And I want you to track your progress every day. Check that off. Get a checklist. Get a notebook. Use the Law of 100 website. Use an app on your phone or something like that. Keep track of your progress. Okay? Doesn't have to be fancy. Doesn't have to be crazy. You can just get a calendar, a regular old school calendar, and you mark X. If you miss a day, don't beat yourself up. Just never miss twice. Okay? Now, then I want you to reflect on the experience, right? At the end of the 100, reflect on how the challenge went. Did you find it easier than expected? What did the repetitive action have on your mood, productivity, or your habits? I want you to explore that. And then I want you to share your results. This is where this can get powerful, when you can inspire others, right? Share your experience on social media. Text or email a friend or colleague. You can even tag us on social media and share how things are going, what results you got, and how we can inspire others. Let's create a community to inspire others to take this challenge. And I'll leave you guys with this. It's simple, not easy, and you can do it. Remember, hard choices, easy life. Easy choices, hard life. Enter in the top 5%, 100 reps at a time. Let's get that, okay? Hey, listen, if you enjoyed this episode, you want to get friends, you want to team up with people, you guys want to get a little group going, share this with them, get them on the concept of the rule of 100, get moving there. You can connect with us in between shows, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, your favorite podcast app, however you want to consume this, you guys know what to do. For past episodes and links to everything we discussed here today, you can head over to the socialchameleon.show. Until next time, keep learning, growing, and transforming into the person you want to become.